Cool. Now it says we are live. Let's go refresh the page. Yeah, we are live. Welcome back, everybody, to Geek Out Cinema. Welcome back to a new episode of Chit, Geek Out. Today I'm joined by Kathleen Kinmont. You guys may know her best from Halloween 4 or Bride of Re-Animator. And it's spooky season, so I figured what better guest to be on the show than Kathleen. How are you today?
I'm fine. Thank you, Stephen. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for being on the show today. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Happy Halloween.
Yeah, happy. It's like almost like pretty much like 8 days away. I think it's under 10 days now. Yeah.
It's like the 8 days of Halloween Christmas.
I know. Well, I get snow up here too. And in October, like the end of October.
Well, we've been getting all kinds of love here in LA.
Yeah.
It's been raining in LA, a different kind of rain. It's raining at the end of this week, so.
Yeah, we had storms early today, and they had tornado watch.
Oh.
I know. I know. No, thank you. Hey, everybody in the chat, how are you? If you guys have any questions for Kathleen, make sure to put them in the live chat here so I can read them for Kathleen. But I want to start off. What have you been up to lately? I know you came out with a new book, which is, I'll let you talk about that more. I haven't personally read it yet. I want to, though, because I've seen you interviewed a lot about it and talk about it. But yeah, what's new with you? Upcoming projects? What would you like the people to know that are watching?
Well, it's so unique to actually have something relevant to promote in this year, because it's been such a huge challenge for everybody. Yeah. And this kind of challenge has kind of thrown a lot of people into spin out, reverse. And fortunately, I was already very much on the track of finishing my book, which is titled I Should Have Been Nicer to Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
And other short stories of epic fails and saves. And this is the second book I released this year. My first book is Magic and Beauty, a children's book. And they're both available on the website, KathleenKinmont.com, and they're also available at Barnes & Noble and Kindle. And I've just recently finished the recording of the Audible, and that is also going to be released on Audible next week. So if you are into reading and you just really love listening, I read my own book. It's 52 chapters. It's like 8 hours and 30 minutes. It was quite the I thought writing the book was the accomplishment. Actually reading it and doing everything as a performance was another big journey.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun and emotional and funny, and like I really covered a lot of bases, but not like the bases that the Dodgers are covering right now.
We were just talking about the Dodgers, guys, before we started the stream here. Kathleen's a big fan of the Dodgers. She's watching them right now.
I am literally a super fan. I mean, and I think what actually makes you a super fan is if you are a legitimate gift, which female fan shakes her fanny is my gift on the Dodgers side, which is, that's an honor. I mean, forget Academy Awards. I mean, I have a team. I root for a team, and I think that everybody who is a super fan of anything, what that feels like, and watching the team do great is pretty remarkable. Year after year, and we've gotten so close, and this feels like this is the one, and I'm really rooting for them with every part of my fiber. But I'm also very active in my own career, and I've actually got a new show that I've been working on, 2 new shows.
Phoenix, right?
Well, Phoenix is a web series that we go back to shooting in November. And that's a wonderful, wonderful show that I'm really excited about, with Laureen Price and Joyce Byers. and Michael Broderick and Garrett Wang. I mean, there's just amazing actors involved. It's exciting. It's like, human trafficking and drug trafficking, and just every bit of espionage that you can think of. And I've also got this show that I've just recently started called Kicking It with Kathleen Kinmont, which, because of COVID, there's such limited platforms to go out and promote. So why not just embrace the entire option of being a self-promoter and start your own show?
Yeah, for sure.
Given the fact that I've really been in the business for almost, really all my life. I was born on TV. My mom's an actor, so I grew up around it. But really consciously focusing on my own adult career since I was, 18. And I interviewed Courtney Gaines on Wednesday night, and I had 2 awesome surprise guests for him. And on Monday night, I interviewed Danielle Harris, and I had 2 awesome surprise guests for her.
Wow.
And for Courtney, both of the surprise guests are from Hard Bodies. And it's just like, oh my God, I'm going to completely travel down my memory lane of my career. If I can bring on every guest that I've ever worked with and have surprise guests that I make featured guests in following shows, I will get to Kevin Bacon or wrap it up with Tom Hanks. I mean, I don't know.
Where are you where are you showing this? Like, is this going to be on YouTube, the show?
Yes, it'll be on YouTube as a vodcast, and then it will be on all of the other platforms for podcast. So covering both bases. I really want it to be wonderful for people who really like to listen.
Yeah.
And those that have the time to invest in a visual experience, it's going to be beyond anything.
Now, you've already recorded some episodes. You say you had an interview. We did a show with Danielle Harris. When are you planning on releasing them?
These will be out before Halloween. So
cool.
Hopefully by next week. And we'll do a big blast on YouTube and everywhere else. I've got a wonderful guest host, Corey Gomez, and my producer, Patrick Lyden, who produced my Audible for me. He's one of my great producing partners. And I just feel incredibly supported, and the industry is really about relationships,
connections. Yeah,
completely.
I learned that the whole pre-production's the hardest part, which I've learned about the film industry, because I did a little bit of everything with my film, at least. And it's just connections. You talk to this person, you talk to this person, and then soon enough, luckily for me, our production ran really smoothly. So I'm like, this was a great cast and crew for next future shoots. I know who I'm going to.
Yes.
So
you firmly in your pocket, and you massage those relationships. You keep checking in with them so that they're always good for you on the speed dial.
Yeah.
It's like all relationships, they're effort. And in the entertainment industry, people move up faster than anywhere else, I think. I mean, there's just so much room.
Yeah.
And I also really believe that if there's something that's entertaining, inspiring, educational, whatever is, motivates you to do better or to enjoy your life more or to maybe pick up the phone and call that person, those are the things that will always have space at the table.
Yeah.
So nobody should get disheartened by the fact that there are a gazillion of these things out there. It's just do it. If it makes you feel good, chances are it's going to make somebody else feel good. So that's where I was writing my book for quite a few years, getting up at 5 a.m.
It's a big book too. It's not like a little book. It's a pretty thick book. It's a good read.
It's not a pamphlet.
Yeah. No, because a lot of times people do that. It's like, It's no yours. I don't know if it's because it's maybe because it's a hard. I don't know. 'Cause I know it depends to the size that's printed, but no, it looks like you put a lot of work into it, which is awesome. Because obviously that means more things to say, more stories, and I got to pick a book up, and people can buy a book on your website. I did leave the link below. There's an option if you want it signed and not signed, or are they all signed?
There's
Awesome.
there's three different paperback, which is like in the $20 area, a hardback, which is a black and white photos, that's like in the $40, and then there's the other hardback, which has the color version,
Yeah.
the photos, and that's the one that's signed, and that's like $90.
Cool.
So,
did you print them in two different versions? Like, did you do a soft back cover and a hardback, like a hardcover?
Yes.
Did both?
Yes. Oh, the color version? No, I didn't do a color version softback. It's just a softback black and white version, hard black and white, and then a hardback color version.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Very nice.
I try to keep it economical for everybody, and
I personally love hardcovers. I don't know what it is. I think it's just they have a longer shelf life.
I mean, they'll definitely last a lot longer. Personally, for me, when I like to read a book, I like soft covers because they're easier.
Yeah, I think the thing is too, though. Soft covers, yeah, they're good. I think with hardcovers, they're a little bit bigger, so it means that there's more pages and the words are more spread out.
Yeah,
that's what I found from reading so far with like hardcovers and soft covers.
Yeah, and I'm definitely one of those people, like, I need the text to be a comfortable size.
Yes, exactly. I don't want to be straining my eyes.
Yeah, I don't enjoy that. I mean, that's why I'll go to an Audible if I see that the text is not written. Yeah. That it's like, oh, this is going to be a struggle for me, and I don't need that. And this is supposed to be enjoyment. So, but I do enjoy Audibles. Audibles are a blast. Like I just listened to Glennon Doyle's Untamed. I mean,
No, audiobooks are great, especially if you're on the go and you don't have time to read necessarily. It's just good to listen.
Yeah, and if you want to be like walking the lake or doing something, we're so accustomed now to becoming a multitasker.
Yeah.
And if we're not after doing something while I'm sitting around listening, it's almost like this is so odd. And what am I? What do I vacation or something?
Yeah. And for you, because you said you did that book and you did another book, a children's book, correct?
Yes.
How was that? Those first books, was that your first time ever publishing a book?
Yes.
Now, how was that process? Because that must have been an interesting process, learning about how everything works, how to publish a book, how to edit a book.
Yeah. It was a tremendous amount of information, most of it which I don't even have, still not even really absorbed. I mean, my job was just to make the text as bulletproof as possible.
Yeah.
And I mean bulletproof for myself.
Right.
And hopefully, to the smartest professor in the room, so that I can be attacked, grammatically, spelling, just am I still on topic? Does it make sense? Is there a beginning, middle, and an end? And is there also a possible opportunity to continue? So,
yeah.
That's fun. I
mean, that's awesome.
I just kind of went for it. Both of these things were inspired by good things, and the finishing chapter is really, that's the part that makes me feel good. Like, I finished.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, that's a lot of hard work. Like, do you think you would ever do it again?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you enjoyed it then. It wasn't like oh, I gotta do this, but I can't wait for this to be over. It's just like it's so much work, but it's like you want to do it again. You enjoy doing it.
Well, yes. I mean, absolutely getting up at 5 a.m. and forcing yourself to write when your mind is clear. It's a little bit of a torture.
Yeah.
But there's a sense of accomplishment when you feel like you've already gotten something done in your day, and it really it's only just you. I mean, it's not like, hey, look at my text writing. This is look at what I did before I edit it. You don't share
Yeah.
it with anybody. All you do is just feel like, when you've done a work, or when you've eaten something healthy, or you cooked something beautiful for a friend or for you.
Mm,
I mean, it's just, these are like the simple pleasures in life that we should never let go of. These are the
yeah.
things keeping us connected and keeping us in check and tethered to the world, where we don't just, float off into the atmosphere because I don't know what I'm doing and I have nothing to do. And
Yeah.
I watched a really great movie called Working Man that will be coming out soon. I'm really lucky to be part of a committee for judging films right now, and I can't say which one it is because I'm not allowed. But I'm getting all the new screeners, which is crazy because it's like, oh, good, I get to watch all the 20 movies that were made this year.
I know. Well, it's hard for us, like especially like film watchers. It's hard for us. It's a hard year for us because there's just so many films that's got delayed. There were so many good films coming out this year too. It's just a shame.
Yeah, but there are the ones that are complete, and the ones that are going to be coming out are really worthy. And,
Scream 5. Let's hope it's good.
but there's just something to be said about work, and
Yeah.
it's not just the paycheck. I mean, even though that's so monumentally huge,
Oh
and
yeah.
there's so many people that are struggling right now for that, but it's just like being relevant to yourself and feeling, like you matter. And sometimes we just have to create those jobs for ourselves.
Oh
And
yeah.
so I'm finding that I'm getting a lot of joy from all the things that are garnering a paycheck right now. Like, every time I make a meal for my kid, I'm like, it's like, the things that just keep you in the game.
And honestly, with everything going on, it's probably a good time for creative people like writers to write new things because for a long time, people had a break. They were off work. They had time to get creative. Things are slowly getting back to normal, but, it's, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of movies about COVID-19.
Yeah.
People are going to write stories about it, even if it's not about necessarily COVID-19. I think they'll have a story based on the impact. And right, I mean, it is a good time for creators to create new content, though. Right now, for sure.
Yes, the writers will continue to write, and
Yeah.
they'll never stop. And this has definitely created more content, and the material on this experience is emotionally, whole new territory.
Yeah.
And it's, when you get into new emotional territory, what are the old tapes that come up, and how are you coping? What are the skills? What is the new skill set? I mean, we're finding out day after day what we can take and what we're sick of, and it will just juxtapose, quite a bit. Like, the thing that's the silver lining is also the thing that makes me the craziest.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I'm spending so much time with my kid.
That's the thing. Like, honestly, I miss work, so I'm looking forward to going back to work. Just to have an income, because it's been a hard year for that. Luckily, this film project I did, I was able to manage to raise money and make it happen. If it wasn't for that, it probably wouldn't happen. So, I'm grateful for that. But yeah, no, I'm honestly just looking back to getting back to work, keeping my mind busy, and doing all that fun stuff. But we'll see. Let's move on, though, and talk a little bit about your past projects. So I have to point this out. I have not seen this movie, although I should have because I love 80s films. So my go-to. But you worked on a movie called Fraternity Vacation. Now, this movie had Tim Robbins. It had Amanda Bearse, Stephen Jeffries. Both of those two people are from Fright Night. Barbara Crampton, who is from Re-Animator. And it also had John Vernon. It had a good cast, and this was like, one of those. It's an 80s summer flick kind of, right? So, it had that vibe to it. I still have to watch it. And when I saw the cast list, I'm like, we got to talk about this because, first of all, Barbara Crampton was in the first Re-Animator. You were in the Bride of Re-Animator. So that's like a little connection there. So talk a little bit about that film, Fraternity Vacation, and how it was working on that because you're pretty young in that movie too.
Yes, I was literally the youngest cast member. And I know this because my clearest memory is everyone going to clubs on the weekend, and I didn't have a fake ID. So, bye, everybody. Yeah, it was James Frawley directed it, and he was one of the main directors for the Monkees.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, and so he had a great reputation for sitcom, and the film actually takes place at spring break, and we filmed it at spring break.
That's awesome.
We had massive amounts of, people coming to Palm Springs just because they were going to be doing that anyway.
Yeah.
The production value of like long lines of, teenagers in bathing suits in convertibles was just like, oh,
Do you remember? Because that was, I would say, if I'm not mistaken, because that was very early in your career, like probably like I think it was like your third or fourth credit on IMDb, but that looked like it was like your first feature film, if I'm not mistaken.
Hard Body.
Okay, my bad. So it was one of them. Do you remember? Because obviously, when you first start out, you're obviously you're fresh in the industry. You're probably not going to be like. Feels like back then too. A lot of these films, like, was it a high budget film or was it low budget?
It was New Line cinema.
Okay, so it was probably a good fair amount of budget if it was New Line.
Right, but I wouldn't put it anything over maybe $2.5 million. I mean, it wasn't stunt laden. It wasn't.
Yeah.
There weren't any massive names. I mean, we had John Vernon, which was a great get.
I guess at the time, yeah, a lot of these names I just listed off, they're probably like kind of nobodies at the time until they started doing more work and people started to know them more.
Totally. We were all starting out. I mean, Cherie Wilson, who ended up doing Renegade and then went on to go do the show with, who was that karate guy? Walker, Texas Ranger. There was just a lot of people. Matt McCoy from The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, Lee McCloskey from Dallas, like Cameron Dye.
Cool.
Yeah, Cameron Dye, who was in Valley Girl and Body Rock with Lorenzo. And what was really cool while we were filming down in Palm Springs, Cameron and I went to the movies to go see the double feature, which was playing Hard Bodies and Body Rock.
Oh, so you got to see yourself.
So we had a blast.
That's funny.
Barbara Crampton was a doll, and she and I are still great friends. I mean, I'm really
She's so nice. I met her in person last year. She's so nice. And you know what the thing is? Like, she doesn't age either.
I'll tell you, when you get that Re-Animator juice in your veins, nothing's happening. It's like you might as well be eating formaldehyde for breakfast.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And it's so cool that obviously Amanda Burse, and I met her too. She's very nice. And Stephen Jeffries, they both worked on Fright Night, obviously, which is like a well-known horror film that I personally love too. And it's cool because they got to work on like pretty much both those films within the same year of shooting them. So that's awesome. But
I have a memory of taking Amanda and Stephen Jeffries horseback riding. Because there's a scene where they go horseback riding in the movie, and they were both really nervous about getting on horses for the first time, on film. And I said, well, I'm an equestrian, so if you guys want to ride, I'll be your ranger and give you some tips so that when it comes time for filming, you'll feel like you've had, a little bit of.
Yeah, because I don't think that's an easy thing to do when you like first start.
No. I mean, listen, anything that is other than walking and talking on film, like if you have to drive a car, or like my very first moment was on roller skates. So
Right.
that was my very first moment, really, as an adult on film. And there's because of the nerves that are naturally already there, you want to just feel as prepared as possible so that shit can happen.
Yeah. Well, do you remember actually, like, within like our whole time filming any project, like, maybe like either the hardest stunt or like most dangerous stunt you've done? Do you like have one on mind that you like can go instantly? I'm like, yeah, that was like the hardest thing to do I've had to do on set for a stunt.
There's two. There's two that were really gnarly. They kind of tie. One of them was running from an explosion. That it's the classic. It's the classic, slow mo, and
Yeah.
fills with a fireball,
Yeah.
And I did it once, and they're like, "Oh, that fireball was weak." And I was like, "Why?" Because it felt really hot, And they're like, "No, we need to add like 5 more gallons of gas,
Oh God.
because otherwise it's just going to look like a wimpy freaking fireball. That's going to look like you're running from a sparkler." And I'm like, "Okay, well." I trust these guys, and Lorenzo was actually directing this film, and they added like 5 more gallons of gas, man. And I started running, and boy, that thing blew, and I got burned on my back a little bit. I mean, it was blistering, but it was like I was freaked out. I mean, I was just like, I want to go home.
God. I couldn't imagine. I went to a Kiss concert and I was like in the nosebleeds and I could feel the heat from when Gene Simmons blew the fire from his mouth.
Yeah, imagine it, right? So there was that, and then there was another moment where I was riding my own horse on an episode of Renegade, and they wanted to give me this other horse that ended up going to a stunt girl who was on the sidelines to wrangle in case one of the horses decided to take off during the shot. So her horse that she was on that they had got for me, that horse flipped out during one of the scenes, and we were under a very heavy laden oak tree. Now, oak trees in California are protected so that you can't trim them, cut them.
Right.
When you're looking on a set, they really frown upon cutting back any kind of flora or fauna that's already there. They're like, either pull it back, but there was just one low hanging branch, and her horse just went right into it and just filleted her forehead. I mean, just opened the thing up, and it was the most god awful thing I've ever seen. And I was the one who ended up running off and catching her horse and bringing her back, and she's like, forehead's like flapping, and I'm just like, oh.
Hopefully you didn't have to do that many takes for that.
That was a one and done.
Oh, thank God. That's good.
We're not going back. I was like, we're good. Wrap. Everyone
That's it. I know we had a fan, because we're talking about stunts, we might as well talk about this. Let's see, on Instagram, we had a viewer ask, how was it to get killed by Michael Myers? And you probably get this asked all the time, but how was it to do the stunt with the shotgun? Was that easy to do?
It was really well thought out, and it wasn't easy, but because it was so well thought out, I was really comfortable doing it. I'll explain. It's really pretty good how I did it. They put a harness on me. The harness had a zip line coming from the back.
Oh, okay.
Shirt with the cable coming, and then they drilled a hole in the door. So that they put the cable in so they could, zip me back.
Right.
Back. But because my feet were dangling, they built a bike seat, like a 10-speed bike seat,
okay.
into the door.
So you sit down while you're standing.
Exactly. So I sit on the bike seat. I've got the cable going from my back. So they just kind of like whoosh,
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was not comfortable, but because it was so brilliantly thought out, and the stunt guys were so awesome and really protected, and I just kept doing it over and over and over again. And honestly, I think that the thing that sells it the most is just truly the look of surprise. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, like, because the thing is, that scene, like, I rewatched it yesterday. And yeah, like when you watch that scene, it's not like really that gory, honestly. It's just, it happens so fast, right?
Yes.
It doesn't need to show a lot. I like how they kind of leave some to the imagination, because you don't really see your wound or anything like that.
Right. Well, I think that's why Halloween 4 is so wonderful, and why Michael Myers is such a scary, scary character. He appears.
Yeah.
He doesn't creep. He's just there. And he's like straightforward. The mouth is seriously no emotion. He never he doesn't run or chase very much. He's like effective. He's brutal.
He's pure evil.
Yeah, it's like, oh, what am I going to kill you with? Oh, just the closest thing I have.
Yeah. And I like that scene, especially too, because you think it's the other guy in the rocking chair, but it's really him. So such a good idea. But okay, I gotta know this. I think the director would probably know the answer, because I don't know if you would. How did they miss the scene where Michael's attack? He's clearly wearing a different mask with blonde hair.
Only the things you see and notice when you watch the film multiple times.
But I don't know. Unless you were going for a different mask.
Like super, really. I mean, I tend to watch things in film that are so distracting, and I'm always mad at myself because I'm like, oh my god, that beer is like. He started drinking it when it was up here.
Yeah, and now it's down here.
Now it's down here.
Yeah, I catch that stuff too on different movies and shows.
I mean, I was like Bingo and Chain 5 minutes in, and they're like at the bar scene, and he's like, making such an effort to like scrape off the foam at the top and do this, and now I'm like, no, I'm just going to be watching that freaking beer mug. Never match. Damn it, that's a big ass movie, right?
I actually did that with mine, like, because I remember we had so there's one scene that we shot for my movie where there's a soap pump in the bathroom. And the next scene we shot, we did it like a different day, and there was no soap pump. And I noticed, like, after the second take, I'm gonna add that in before it's gonna bother me if it's not there, unless we can cut it out with some, editing. But I don't know. It's just, I think it happens on so many different projects. It's so easy to mess up something like that.
Oh my god! Wizard of Oz, which is one of my top favorite films. Literally, there's so many mapping problems you can't even keep count.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things that, you just got to have a script supervisor that is like 9 eyes. Okay? Yeah. You forget Cyclops. They've got to be like.
You need an extra pair of eyes.
And sometimes, most of the time with film, it's all about how much time you have left. And, spending time on playback is eating up your production time.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, who has time to go to playback? You're just like, pray to God that somebody's really
got the footage, do like a few good takes, and then move on.
Yeah. And who knows what the deal is in answer to your mask question?
Yeah, you never found out? Because I'm sure fans have noted that out before.
Oh, constantly. Yeah.
I think, but maybe unless they had a different mask design near the beginning of production, and they filmed that in advance, and they never ended up using that mask. Who knows? I don't know.
It could have just been one of those things where it's like, wait, which mask were we using? Was it this one? I mean, and
mask.
And who's got the thing? Did anyone do a drawing rendition? And
Yeah.
what are we doing? It's like, oh, who cares? We're running out of light. Grab this mask. I mean,
I think it's silly though. I kind of like it how it's like that though, because it's like I don't know. Sometimes it's nice to have these little errors. It just makes it thinks like not everything was gonna go be perfect, right? There's gonna be those little mistakes here and there, but that's how it is every production.
sometimes that is the perfect. Sometimes
I know.
that, like, oh, this is the thing I'm looking forward to the most when I see this movie for the umpteenth time.
Yeah.
And there's that crappy mask. Why did they do that?
Do you remember like out of your time doing film, like what, how many, like what was the most takes you've ever done for one scene?
Oh, I remember one scene during Renegade where it was just such an epic fail on my part because I decided that I was going to point out some kind of grammatical error in my dialogue. I remember making such an issue about it, like, oh, I'm so smart, and oh, Cheyenne would say it like this, she'd say it this way. And I was like, so, I don't know what I was in my soapbox about something that day.
Yeah.
And man, if I did not F up that line like 12 times in a row, I don't know. And this was a show that we basically rehearsed on film.
Yeah.
We had like 8 to 15 pages a day, and this is a 1 hour show. This is a single camera. I mean, there was no time for like, okay, well, you know, we got that, and like let's just do a couple more, you know, like the way you want to do it. And it was, we had that, you know, that luxury. So I was just like, and then I started, you know, and I'm wearing a turtleneck, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm broke into a flop sweat, and it was just panic. Yeah, that was. I'll never do that again. Hey, you wrote it like crap, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm not going to say anything wrong. Or I'll just fix it and not say anything to anybody. But like, that was such a lesson. Like, who do I think I am? I was like cold boomerang, like right to my neck.
Oh God. I'm glad you're okay.
Oh God, can we fix this in post? Can we just like cut to somebody else and I'll do the line on camera? I was like trying to get out of it so badly. It was so horribly embarrassing.
Oh God.
Yeah. Fail. Yeah. Miles in that shitty mask. I want to put it on right now.
What's that?
I was like, where's Michael Myers in the shitty mask? I needed to put it on.
That, you what though, speaking about that, you know, one thing I always want to know about like the creators that do the masks and stuff is that I wonder why they never just kept it to like the original style. Like they always had to change the mask in every film. I don't know why. That always bothered me for some reason. And obviously now because the whole timeline's messed up too. If you watch the whole franchise, the timeline is messed up. Well, like H2O, Jamie doesn't exist, but Laurie has a daughter. I mean, Laurie has a son. And then, like, in the obviously, you know, in the new one, have you seen the new Halloween movie?
I've seen it. No, not Jamie Lee Curtis. I haven't had a chance to see that yet. I'm dying to see it.
What, the 2018 version? You haven't seen it?
No.
Really? Okay. Well, you obviously know, like, what are your thoughts on it? Because obviously the new film that came out in 2018, I believe, they ignored all the sequels. So they just continued right after the first one. What are your thoughts on that? Do you don't mind, or like, do you think that was a good choice?
I think everybody should make their own story.
Yeah.
I think that if you have, you know, something that makes sense to you and that is going to be unique.
Yeah.
And, I mean, because honestly, there will be new Halloween fans every year.
Oh yeah. Conventions, the Pasadena H40 convention, all that stuff.
And there's a lot of people that haven't seen the first one or the third one or the fourth one, or who cares? But like,
the third one's actually pretty good, even though it doesn't have Michael in it.
Well, I mean, I think that, you know, if you're going to do something, just let it be something that's going to stand alone.
Yeah, of course.
I find that, you know, with sequels, if you're going to rely so much on what happened before and it's not a standalone story,
it's a lot.
You who's the person that's like hasn't seen the stuff before?
Yeah.
So just tell your own story. Who cares?
Yeah.
And if you want to use a different mask, use a different mask. Let it be your stamp. Because here's the truth. In every single department in the entertainment industry is somebody saying, I'm here too.
Mm.
The person that does the makeup, the person that does the wardrobe, the person that's doing the props,
Yeah.
the person that's doing the product placement, the
Yeah.
person that's, doing
So
the
much work.
and all of these jobs are so elemental.
Mm.
Also, an individual doing them, and
Yeah.
they need to all be supported by the director who said yes, yes, yes to this.
Yeah, of course.
And it's his vision or her vision. Ultimately, it's become like, okay, whoever wrote it is going to hand it off to somebody else to say it, direct it, post produce it,
Yeah.
all of these things. I mean, and if somebody's constantly trying to macromanage or micromanage or trying to make it something that was somebody else's, then you're eliminating somebody else's opportunity to tell their story. And
Exactly.
I'm a full, like a storyteller.
Yeah.
What's happened before? Who cares what's going to happen afterwards? It's its own thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, of course, Rob Zombie. I know he gets a lot of, people that like. I personally like his work. And like what he's done with film. His film's really gritty and all that stuff. But like, even like his remake with Halloween. Like Halloween is like my favorite movie. That's like what got me introduced to horror when I was a young kid. So I'll always like the main movie and the franchise itself because they're fun movies to watch. But with Rob Zombie's movie, I found that. It was kind of like his own story. He kind of went more depth of Michael's past and all that. So I like what he did there. And of course, it's by storytelling. So, I mean, not everyone's going to like it, but I mean, especially
I really love his first one so much. And
yeah.
I know why. It's because he cast William Forsythe in that stepfather role, which made a real backstory
Yeah.
for Myers, as far as I was concerned. Like this kid getting abused and having his character just totally annihilated. That's a repercussion.
Yeah.
The ripple effect of that will be huge. And he created a reality there, which is a palpable reality of like, this is what happens when you're tremendously shitty to somebody.
Yeah.
And especially a kid, they're going to, react. And that movie was chilling for me because I'm really sensitive to how people treat their kids, and these are our future. So, that movie really stayed with me, and really is so damn brilliant and such an amazing human. Like he's so wonderful, and he plays like these characters that are just like, oh my god.
You said William Forsythe, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, see, I met him too last year. Last year. Yeah, he's a cool guy too. He's done so many great works. Like I even told him like my favorite performances he did was in Devil's Rejects, and he's so good in that role. Yeah. But like even in Rob Zombie's Halloween, I love him in that movie too. But no, he's a good actor. That's
and that he was like, that was Rob's. He took his own vision, and he was like, brought Danielle Harris.
Okay, we have to talk a bit about this. I know we didn't go like too much in depth about Halloween stuff. Are you okay to be on for like a little bit longer, like I don't know, like 20 minutes or so?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously, I saw on Danielle Harris. Obviously, she posted. Of course, Rob Zombie added her to his film, which is awesome. But she recently posted that you guys did a little reunion for Halloween 4. So can you tell us anything about what's that about, or is it top secret?
Well, it's my show. It's Kicking It with Kathleen Kinmont.
It's for your show. Okay. I wasn't sure if it was like for Danielle's thing because I know she's also doing like her show too on YouTube.
Yeah, she's got her show called Common Terror, which I did an episode of a couple months ago, and that's a great show. She gets us on the couch and we watch a movie of ours
That's
that
awesome.
she's seen before. So
Yeah.
right over here.
Really? He did it? Oh, that's awesome. What did she think? Did she like it?
Oh, she loved it. Yeah, I mean that's such a creative film, and I mean, I'm insane. I mean, I'm a freaking monster with skinless, insane, and I'm like naked, and I mean, it was a bodysuit, but still, it's my body. And
Were you a fan of H.P. Lovecraft before you did that movie?
Not really.
No.
I mean, I was like, I was 23, 24. And I didn't really know Re-Animator. And I got the part, and they gave me the video.
Yeah, it's so good.
I took it home, and I was like, popped it in, and I watched it, and I was like, oh my God.
You're probably like, you're probably what made you more excited. Like, wow, I really want to do the sequel now. And I think they made like 3 or 4 of them now.
Weird shit.
You know what, though? The thing is, I love so much about that movie. Obviously, it's 80s. The practical effects is so good. And that's like what I love most about it. It's like that was its prime in the 80s.
Yes. And it was a brilliant team of Canadian VFX group. You know, Greg Nicotero, Howard Berger, Bob Kurtzman. These guys are all Quentin Tarantino staples for all of their films. So, you know, they're at the highest level of, you know, Howard Berger was Stan Winston's. So, and I got to work with Stan on Terminator 3 with Kristana Loken, and you know, got to talk to Stan about Howard, and talking to Howard about Stan, and you know, these are the guys that, yeah, it's practical art.
Yeah,
and that kind of artistry is incredible, and I would just marvel at it every day, and I had a lot of time to marvel because I would be there at like 3 a.m.
all the setup with the special effects makeup.
I mean, and it wasn't really, it wasn't even really special effects makeup. It was just
body.
Shit being glued on me all over, and stepping into a bodysuit that had one arm and one leg and the rest of my torso, and then they would just marbleize everything else and bring out the veins, and you know, I had stuff all in my face, and you know, it was a test in patience, it was a test in trust, it was a test of you know, what is my breaking limit. And I mean, I really went for a long time without having any issue. I mean, I never lost it. I never went like, oh, I'm claustrophobic, you know, get me out. A lot of people do, quite honestly. When you start getting stuff glued on your face and you look in the mirror and you're like, oh, you know, but I was entranced by them, by what I was doing, by the character, and I always felt incredibly loved and appreciated. So they made it great for me. I would work with them in a heartbeat. You know, pour blood all over me.
One thing I love about that film, obviously, when I first watched the first one, I was like, I was devastated when like Barbara Crampton's character died at the end. Like, it's so sad. And then I thought it was a cool spin that they did, is that they put like, obviously, Barbara Crampton's character's heart inside of the, you know, the bride, which was you. So I think that was a good add-on to the sequel. I like that idea.
Me too. And I love knowing that I'd already had this great relationship with Barbara, and knowing that, you know, knowing her heart, you know, as a person. And, you know, there was so much going on in my mind while working on that character, but she was the heart of what my monster was. I would always kind of go back to that, and you know, being, you know, reanimated by 10 different body parts and everything, you know, in different, you know, it wasn't syncopated. It was like a jazz band. I was like, all over the place, but like still within me. And yeah, I'm really, really grateful for that experience. That Bride of Re-Animator, that's the standard by which I measure everything. Because I went to the limit on that, and I didn't complain, and I didn't. I wasn't like, how much longer? There wasn't any of that, because I would have almost full 24-hour turnarounds. I would work for at least a good 18 hours every time I was in the bride costume. So you just surrender, like what we're in right now as a world, There's no fighting. There's just coping.
Yeah, exactly.
Being smart and being, where am I in my stress-free zone? Being healthy.
Yeah.
Because stress is a big, it's a big contributor. So I couldn't help out in there. I could save it for when the cameras are rolling, for sure. I was like, definitely, there was a buildup of like, and but I couldn't do that with my coworkers or my crew,
right?
The people that were taking care of me. I wasn't gonna blow it on them. I was gonna, love
yeah.
Yeah.
Have you kept any like props or anything like that from any of your past films or TV shows?
I have very limited memorabilia, and it's really interesting because I was interviewing Courtney Gaines the other day, and we were both talking about that. Like, God, if we really had the wherewithal, like, I would have kept the Top Suit by the Book shirt.
Well, we have to talk about that, obviously.
I would have kept like my heart from Bride of Re-Animator after I into my chest, and is this what you want?
What do you think happened? It's like, does most of the stuff like do you think like do you know like of the props that you like wish you would have kept? Do you know if they got like just thrown out, or do you know like private collectors that own them?
Yeah, I don't know anybody that owns any of those props. I don't think any of us had the wherewithal that that any of these films were going to have the legs that they do.
Yeah.
That's the thing about being in a cult film. You don't know you're in a cult film until like 15 years later.
Yeah.
And you're getting fan mail or being invited to something that has to do with that film. You're just like, wow, jeez.
I'm hoping for another what is it, H45 like convention. I'm really, because last it was H40, and it sucks because that year that it was H40 convention in Pasadena, I was literally just there in LA like in February. I would have waited till October. I was so mad, but luckily I got a consignment company to get me some autographs, so that was cool. But that's cool though that you get to do all these conventions and meet all these fans. And I'm sure I was going to mention, I'm sure that how is your reaction to seeing so many people, like, some people cosplay as you. Like, I've seen pictures online of people with like the Cops Do It by the Book shirt, which is hilarious. And how's your reaction when you see those?
Oh, first of all, hold on a second. I was going to, I've had some made up. There you go. Put me in there. Cops Do It by the Book.
Can you buy it on your website?
I usually just bring them to conventions, but I guess I could put some up on my website. I haven't been that merchandise oriented. I mean, God, I'll tell you who's really great at that is Danielle. I mean, she has certainly all of it, and she's quite the businesswoman at it. But I bring them to conventions, and they sell like hotcakes.
Oh, I can imagine.
I do cameos in them, and people really love that. I'm going to be doing a couple tonight, and the things that I guess I really would love to have saved are probably more like prop guns, and certainly like in the CIA Codename Alexa movie where I did that one with O.J. Simpson, there were a few things that probably would have been interesting to save, but then again, when you do save things like that, like I saved my That Thing You Do script, and then I
of course. Do you have any at least scripts or call sheets that you saved?
But you know what I've done is that a lot of different charities have asked me for memorabilia, so I give them charities so that they can raise money for, I don't know.
That's good. At least you're not just giving it away for free
or something. It's like, it just seems to make more sense because that's what.
Because we have like people like Sean Clark, who's like obviously one of the like biggest names as far as horror collectors and publicists in the horror community. And of course, he's one that collects a lot of stuff, which is awesome. And there's so many different private collectors, so that's really cool that you get to do that and raffle them off for charity.
Yeah, it seems to me like it's good stuff, and if that's stuff that can actually go and make somebody's life a little bit better, and it just seems like, well, do it. That's a no to me. So I tend to let stuff go.
Yeah,
I don't hang on to too much. This is the one thing I will never let go.
Dodgers cap.
This is the cap that I actually caught a baseball in.
Oh, really? Oh, okay, that's cool.
That's on my website. And the one autograph I have.
Oh, you're selling it.
No.
What? I thought you're like on my website. What?
No, this autograph is Zendaya.
Oh, okay. No, that's cool. That's awesome.
Isn't that cool? My friend Tony O'Dell, he's an actor from Head of the Class.
Yeah.
And, he was her dialogue coach on Casey Undercover. And my daughter, big Disney fan, and she was like, "Oh, I wish I could go and meet her someday." And I was like, "Let me make a phone call. Let me make a phone call of all time." So he brought us down to the set in the very last week of filming of that show, and I brought my hat because I was like, Zendaya, she's amazing, and
that's awesome.
She was coming out in The Greatest Showman, and I was like, you know what, from LA to Z.
Yeah, no, that's a cool little momentum of yours, your little collectible. That's awesome. And it has a story. I like when items have a story like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool. When was your last time seeing one of these? If I can get this in frame.
Here it is. What is
there we go.
Oh, wow.
Press kit. This is an original press kit, but
more than I've ever even seen one. Am I in it?
If anybody that's watching doesn't know what a press kit is, it's pretty much these really given out to like people that write newspapers and like articles and all that stuff. So they like write a review about the movie. They get like a synopsis and a bunch of stills included. And of course you have Donald Pleasance there too. But these are cool. I'm glad I got this. I mean, it's hard to find I like stills and press kits and lobby cards because they don't really make them anymore, and they're a cool little fact of history. But they're fun to look at. I even got this, which was like let's see here, #1 U.S. box office hit, an original sheet here.
That's so cool. Why is it #1 box office hit when it came out?
Sorry?
It came out and it was the #1 box office hit? I guess so.
I'm sure, especially if this was printed the week of the release.
Wow.
I'm sure. You know what's always I wondered is that why they never used the mask that's out the front cover.
That's a good mask. Right?
It is a good mask. I'm like, it always boggles me. I'm like, how they never use that? Oh boy.
That was a really exciting moment for everybody that was involved in that film.
I'm sure.
It launched really. It launched Danielle, Allie, Sasha, myself. That was and Dwight Little. The director. His vision was so pure and so great from the moment those opening titles started.
And Alan Hawthorne, his score is beautiful.
Yes, and he did so much homework on what the harvest was really about. He he went in and discovered what those images were, and because he did that, I think it just immediately set the tone.
Yeah.
That was what Halloween is really about.
The cinematography at the beginning, it shows you fall. I love it.
Yes. Yeah, it draws you in, and Danielle's performance is so brilliant and so just, raw and real.
Yeah.
Her relationship with Ellie is so beautiful. In fact, Dwight was saying the other day that he looks for the Jamie and Rachel relationship for every script that he on, that that's like a prerequisite for him. And when I think about that, what is that relationship? That relationship is ride or die. I will fight, kick, scream, kill for you. Those things are what we can all relate to.
Yeah.
And that's the relatable understanding when you have somebody that you love, that you're in charge of, that you care about, that they're more vulnerable than you. And that, my bodyguard, type of thing. And it's really interesting to see that with girls. I mean, they were, it's not a boy-girl thing.
Yeah.
I'm your protector, and it's kind of like a joke, but it's like, it's this kind of sister equally, but older sister. It was just really, that was the relationship that made it so interesting, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And then, of course, Kelly was just such a total bitch. You die.
And also FYI guys, I am doing a Halloween giveaway right now, and it's actually related to Halloween 4. If you guys want to, I'm giving away a Danielle Harris autograph 8x10 from her website. So if you guys would like to win that, the giveaway closes on Halloween, so make sure to go enter that. You guys can find the video on my YouTube channel. Thank you to everyone that's been watching. Sean, Count Von Strange, Horror Kingpin, Mike's Killer Collectibles, The Horror Den, Queen Cujo, Nostalgia Dude 98. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. It's been great talking to you, Kathleen. I really appreciate you taking the time tonight. And if everyone would like to keep updated to what Kathleen's up to, make sure to go follow her, check out her website. All links are down below. And before we leave, Kathleen, do you mind doing a little plug for my show before we go?
Absolutely.
Okay. Perfect. Just state your name and say you're watching Geek Out Cinema.
Hi, this is Kathleen Kinmont, and you are watching Geek Out Cinema.
That's awesome. Hold on one more minute. I'm going to put you on big screen when you do that. Hold on 1 minute. There you go. Go for it.
Hi, I'm Kathleen Kinmont, and you are watching Geek Out Cinema.
That was awesome. Thank you so much, Kathleen. I wish you all the best. Stay healthy. Have a happy Halloween. And hopefully I will see you at a convention real soon.
Would love that. Thank you. And happy Halloween to you too, Stephen. Be well.
Thank you. Be well. Take care. Have a good night, everybody.
Night.